Good morning. There has to be a difference between your normal managing energy and your corrective energy. If you normally manage your horse by pulling him and making his feet move this way, pushing him and making his feet move this way, as opposed to drawing him or driving him, if you're always kind of roughly managing your horse, if you're always not giving your horse any responsibility, your horse will never know that he's expected to have any. To me, there needs to be a difference between an asking and a telling, a loving and a correction. And I need my horse to know there's a difference so that my horse strives for the one that feels better. This morning, I take Dewey and Daisy out together, and I grab Dewey out of his stall first. So we come from his stall. So here he is with me, already out of his stall. We're in the aisle. We're going to reach Mommy's stall. He stops here, and he's expected to wait politely, which he does. I open the gate, put Mommy's halter on, move her out of the way of the gate because the gate opens in. She sometimes struggles to get herself out of the way of the gate. He's still being patient. But often, in the amount of time it takes to kind of manage her body, he will encroach. So now, before I can invite her out, once I have her clear of the gate, before I can invite her out, I have to ask him now to back up. So my focus goes on his chest and driving the air on both sides of the shoulder with the intention of the compression of it to be on his chest. So I drive the air out here where I'm expecting it to reach my focus. Okay, so now I'm going to tell him to back up. So when he backs up, I might, don't always, because there's more to it than just backing up. There's going to be another movement I need him to do. I might reach out and pet him for the good boy for, yes, that was the right answer. Thank you for responding. And then, now he's still facing me. Mommy's politely waiting now. I'm going to drive his cheek and the shoulder closest to me away. Again, driving the energy. So my focus is actually still going to be on the shoulder, but my eye, like my energy is going to be at his shoulder because that's where moving the feet matters the most in this whole thing. But if his nose isn't pointing in the direction that I want his nose to point, his feet cannot go that direction. So I'm going to have to get his nose pointed. So I'm going to have my eyes on his cheek, but my energy is going to be at his shoulder. So I'm going to ask his cheek to turn and his shoulder to turn. And what I'm looking for is for him to cross over and face now perpendicular to his mom. I don't kiss, so that means he's expected to just pause. He's not expected to cross his feet over and walk away, where sometimes if you use the skills or the techniques of just muscling your horse around, you may push your horse out of the way and your horse is going to start walking. Then he's going to get in trouble for walking. Your horses are always getting in trouble for things that they don't know the answer. So once he yields and waits, I'm going to rub my hand from basically his throat latch, down his neck, through the groove that meets his shoulder, down the meat part of his shoulder until my hand reaches the rest at my side. So it's going to be just a nice, gentle, loving stroke down him to let him know. It's an acknowledgement to let him know those were all the right answers. And now I go back to focusing on Mom. He continues to wait politely. There's nothing about that was uncomfortable for him. Now, had I'm getting Mommy managed, whatever, I turn around, he's encroached, right? I turn around, now he's right there. Now I'm like muscling him back, pushing him that way, and he walks off, and I yank him back and whatever. So now I have this more forceful communication that is meaning nothing other than I'm a jerk, right? That's his mommy. He's curious what's taking so long. There's nothing wrong with, I would never knock the curiosity out of a baby. He's curious. He doesn't understand that he should have stayed over here. So I'm going to say politely, hey, I need you out of the way. Thank you for listening. Now let's go. As opposed to the aggression that comes across all in correction. Now, once we were leaving, he fell behind and got a little bit behind my shoulder. Now, I want my horses to walk with me where their shoulder is even with my hips. This way, I can see what their ears are doing. I can see what their eyes are doing. I can see what their nostrils are doing. I can see all of their thoughts. I never wonder because they're behind me. And people, like there's trainers that say horses should walk behind you. If your horse respects you, fine. If your horse has no respect for you and something scares it from behind it, it's going to run you over, and as it's passing you, it's going to point back to you and go, eat her. Right? It does not. If your horse does not have respect for you, your horse will not respect you enough to not run you over. You do not want your horse behind you. You don't. When you're leading your horse from point A to point B, your horse needs to be where you can see his ears, his eyes, and his nostrils, and his lips. Okay? You need to be able to see if one ear flips back to hear what's behind it. You need to be able to see if its head got elevated, like, oh, something's scaring me. You need to see if his eyes stop blinking. You need to see if his nostrils started to flare. You need to see all those things if your horse is thinking about doing something mean to you, right? Pinning ears, eyes becoming where they show you the whites, nostrils flaring and lips curling. All those things are important to know if your horse is about to attack you, right? But if he's going to attack you from behind, you might not know it's coming. So Dewey fell a little bit behind on the way to the paddock. Now, he got praised for backing up, yielding his front end. He got praised for that, right? Now, there's no question in his mind that that made mommy happy. Mommy, this mommy, not the horse mommy. Okay? There's no question in his mind that that was an acceptance of good behavior. Now, as we're walking out, he falls behind and he bumps me with his nose. Now, he doesn't bite. It's not that it's not a stage he won't go through again or ever. He's never bit. But he did go through a stage where he thought to part his lips at you, and he was corrected right away, so he never learned to find that to be a good idea. But so when he bumped me with his nose, it also meant his shoulder, his half of his chest was behind me right here. So had he decided to jump on me, he was in a good position to do that. So that required me to say, that's unacceptable, and to guide him forward and around me, right? So now that is still with information. I'm still saying, I put my hand forward that says, you need to get up here. My tone is, you need to do this now. Right? Because it's corrective. Now he understands by my tone and by my movements and by my energy that he is being corrected for that behavior. Once he's where he's supposed to be, he gets that same loving stroke. I don't hold a grudge. I'm not mad at him for having misbehaved. I'm telling him, see, that's all. Now we can keep going to your paddock. Okay? I want my horse to know the difference between I've been asked to do something, I behaved properly, and I got warm, loving feelings from it, or I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, and I did something that I'm going to be in trouble for, and I got corrected. I felt that kind of displeasure. I felt that disappointment. I felt that disrespect. But when I was shown the right answer, I was told, that's good. And then all is well. See, when horses bite each other, it doesn't go on for hours and hours and hours and then grudges and all that. It happens in the moment. And then it's over. And then an hour later, you can't believe you're watching them graze hip to hip. It's like it always baffles people. Like, because horses live in the moment. So you have to make sure that your corrections mean something in the moment, but don't linger. Don't let him make you mad. Like, if I had to shove him in whatever, like, I could find myself feeling like a shaken soda. I always say that your energy is like a shaken soda. Your horse, I use it for your horse as well. Like if you see your horse starting to kind of get upset, And, you can almost see the soda getting shaken, and you could see the bubbles starting to, and you could see the gas increase. You can see that if you go to try to take that cap off, it's going to blow. You can see your horses behaving that way without a question. But can you feel you behaving that way? What do you need to do to let some of that fizz out so the cap doesn't pop off, right? You need to find a way to bring yourself down to a breathing, or to a, he didn't know better, or maybe I've never fully educated him, so even though I think we go through this every day, if you muscle your horse every day without an education, your horse does not actually know better. Does not actually know better. But my horse knows the answer to that question. My horse knows, get up here. And I didn't do it with that tone, but I'm trying to show you there's a big difference. Get up here, that's not acceptable. My horse knows that. Now you're in the right spot. Good job. My horse knows that. My horse is not going to seek this reaction from me. My horse is going to seek this reaction from me, and there is a clear black and white difference. Find a way to communicate with your horses with a softness and a consideration for their education. Take in account for the fact that you might not have ever educated your horse, and your horse has just gotten lucky in how many times it's guessed the right answer. Horses just guess. And sometimes they guess the right answer over and over again, but they are not actually educated. And the worst part is clucking, for example. Clucking to go forward, clucking to go back. I have a whole thing on that. Making your horse guess what that clucking means today, what that clucking means this time. 5 minutes ago, it meant back up. This time it means go forward. Next time it means go sideways. Next time it just means, hey, look at me. Could you imagine going through life going, shit, it meant back up last time. You think it means back up this time? Shit. Can you imagine going through life not knowing what is being expected of you? That would suck. Don't treat your animals that way. Dogs too. Whatever animal. I don't even mean to even isolate it to dogs and horses, but don't treat your animals that way. Like, they should just know. But they don't. Like, especially babies. That's why I love babies. Because it's like, babies, when babies misbehave, especially as they get bigger, like they become sizes of horses and people think, oh, it's a horse, it should know. Always remind yourself, that's a clean slate. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what a halter is, let alone how to respond properly to the pressure of a halter. He doesn't know what a lead rope is, let alone understand how to respond properly to the pressure of the lead rope. Or if you're starting to teach him how to follow the feel with the rope down his body and asking him to turn and follow the feel of the rope, he doesn't know what any of that is. So if he doesn't respond properly, ask yourself, did I teach it? If I didn't teach it, take the time. Take the time to teach it so that your horses can live a very peaceful existence. So important to allow your horses to have good lives. You wanted them for a reason. You wanted them because you wanted to love on them. You didn't want them, I hope, just so that you can do a sport with them. But there are people who won't even go to the barn if their horse threw a shoe. And I think if you're that person, I think you're sad. Because your horse is disappointed that they didn't see you today. Because they weren't valuable enough to you today. They don't know that they threw a shoe. They don't know that stops you from coming. They may think that the best part of their day is when they see you. And hopefully it's because they see you and not because they see the bag of carrots you just walked in with. I want my horses to want my touch, not want my carrots. I want to know that the horse fell in love with me, not in what I brought to feed them. I covered a lot of subjects just now, but I'm all about the horse. I had a new lesson with somebody yesterday, and one of the two things that I tell people, maybe two, maybe I shouldn't have numbered it because I tell people a lot of the same things. I'm here to care about your horse, and I care about your horse first. I don't care about you as much as I care about your horse, because I can talk to you and I can explain to you where we might have gone off track. I need to help your horse understand, and I care more about your horse's understanding than I do about yours. I can sort yours out. I need to help your horse. I also tell people that your horse is going to like me. I've only had two people that have expressed like legitimate jealousy, where it's like, you shouldn't love her, I'm your, my defense in that is, you want your horse to like his trainer. You want your horse to see the trainer and come to the gate instead of see the trainer and go to the farthest point of the field. That's your feedback. If your horse walks away from you when he sees you coming, that's your feedback. I don't catch horses. And if the owner has a relationship with their horse where they have to catch their horse, I'll wait at the gate and let you chase your horse around the field or whatever. But if it was a horse that was in my care, if it was a horse that was here at my farm for training or to live, that horse will learn that I am good and I am worth coming to come see. And when it sees me, no matter how far away it is, even if it just finally found that delicious patch of grass, if my horse sees me, my horse says, "Oh, there she is!" And my horses gallop to see me. I never walk out in my field with a halter or with a bucket of grain. Like, I couldn't even imagine that being part of my life. I stand at my gate and I can call one horse, like Dewey. I can call my 9-month-old foal. He just turned 9 months old. I can call him specifically, and he will pick up his head and come galloping in. I have video of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm just talking out my ears here. It's important to realize what your feedback is, and it's important to want to improve it. If your horses walk away from you, if your horses help you get themselves out of their halter so that they can take off as soon as you turn them loose, that's your feedback. If you take your horse's halter off and then they want to hang out with you and you walk away and they go, "Hey, wait, that was it?" That's your feedback. That's the feedback you want. That's the feedback I strive to help every horse owner that I work with to get from their horse. And I don't care how abused your horse has been. I don't care how untouched or unhandled your horse has been. I can help you develop that relationship with your horse if you're willing to hear me out. So, okay, covered a lot of subjects. Really sorry. Clearly I came in here, thought I would be able to keep working. And thank you, Morgan. You know that I can't do that, and you're probably laughing right now. So I got to get to work. Okay, thanks for listening.